I have work I need to do. I have work that I need to do.
So in order to manifest anything that you want in this reality, you have to become what it is that you want to attract. Let me give you an example from my life. A little while ago, I could never carry the identity of being a YouTuber, being a content creator, or being an influencer. Even though I just couldn't do it because I was like, no, this is not who I really am. I was rejecting that whole identity, and my reality supported that belief. And as a byproduct of that, I wasn't getting what I wanted from my career. I wasn't getting what I wanted from what I was producing, from what I was making, from what I was creating. So what did I do? I completely quantum leaped. What I mean by this is I stepped into the identity of being a content creator. I stepped into the identity of being an influencer. You know how I did this? I started telling myself, I am a YouTuber, I am a content creator, I am an influencer. I'm making a huge impact on the people in my reality and the people outside of me. I make a huge impact on the world. And that's the identity I started carrying. And sooner rather than later, all that stuff, my reality started to catch up because I started to believe it internally. And it's so crazy to even think that this could even happen and manifest, but it can. And I've been digging more deeply into this concept a lot more recently and getting more in touch with psychology, self-concept, manifestation, quantum physics. And I've been digging really deep into these things. I've been going down a rabbit hole, and I want to leave you with something. I want you to realize this. The current reality you're living in is because of you. It's not to say that it's bad or it's good. It's subjective to you. From the outside looking in, I could think it's bad. From the outside looking in, I could also think it's good. It's subjective. Everything that you're currently living in is a byproduct of who you are. Everything you're currently living in, you've created. It's a byproduct of your creation. And this concept hit me really hard when I realized that I really had to take accountability for everything in my life. Everything that I've ever done, I've created. And I genuinely believe that. And I'm willing to hold myself accountable to whatever it is in my life now because I understand that I'm the creator of my reality. I'm not the person who's suffering in it. I'm not a slave to my reality. I will never be that. Recently, I've been digging a lot deeper into these whole concepts, and I've been reading this book recently. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. And basically what it tells you is how your self-concept gives you the life that you have right now. And basically, to summarize this book, it's basically how your identity is creating your current circumstances and how you're manifesting your current circumstances because of the way you see yourself. So what I've been thinking about is if I am not the person that I want to be, my reality is not going to pick up on that. So what I had to do was like, it's time to quantum leap into a new reality. And guess what I did? I did exactly that because I'm the god of my reality. I'm a master manifester, and I started believing this. This is a story that I've been telling myself. And guess what? My reality has been picking up so freaking fast. So crazy. When you get into quantum physics and you get into quantum healing and psychology and all these things, it's crazy to believe that you can change your reality just by changing your internal state. And this is not some woo-woo magical stuff. This is literally scientifically proven. Your reality is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So I was like, this is no longer going to be my story. So I cut ties with my old story, and I was like, this is not who I am anymore, and I'm scrapping my old self. And you know exactly what I did? I quantum leaped into the version of myself that I wanted to be. And this is exactly how I did it. Last month, I was like, okay, I want to start listening to subliminals and affirmations again because I understand that that's the way I manifest best, by listening to affirmations, by speaking them into existence and programming my mind to believe these things. But then some subconscious blocks would come up, and they would block me in my life, and I would feel really inferior until they came to my awareness, and I was like, okay, it's time to get rid of these blocks. And I started removing the blocks from my life so that way I can move forward and proceed in my beliefs. And every day I would wake up, I would listen to these affirmations when I was working out, when I was walking, when I was driving, and whenever I had the free time, I was listening to these affirmations and programming my mind every single day. And I would tell myself the story over and over again about how positive my life is. And that's exactly why I've been manifesting so rapidly fast, because I'm starting to believe these things about myself, and I'm starting to believe these things about my reality. And I came to a point in my life, I was like, I don't like my life. I really don't. I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like where I'm at, and I'm unhappy where I'm at, and I'm unfulfilled. And I realized this is because I lacked a lot of boundaries in my life, because I was always putting other people first. And I was like, okay, in order to get out of this, we have to do the exact opposite. So what did I do? I started moving backwards. I started doing things that I usually don't do. And that means not doing the same habits that I always do. That means being consistent with myself. That means showing up for myself. Even on the days that I don't feel like showing up, I'm showing up. My reality right now is just a byproduct of everything that I've been putting in. It's so freaking crazy to believe that my life is actually picking up because I'm changing the way I'm feeling about myself. What I realized from this whole process was, in order for me to quantum leap and get to the reality in which I want to be in, I have to take different actions and move in alignment with my highest self. And I was like, I can't keep putting these things on my vision board and not taking action. I can't keep putting these things on my vision board and trying new things and being inconsistent with them and expecting results. This is driving me insane. And I was like, okay, we're just gonna start being consistent. And that's exactly what I did. Sometimes you come to your breaking point and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking do it. And this is gonna be my reality. And I don't care who believes in me. I don't care who's on my team. I don't care. I'm winning. And this is my winning season. And that's what it's gonna be. And that's been my mentality ever since. And not only that, a lot of things have been triggering me into these spirals where I'm like, I'm wasting my potential. And I'm like, hold up. I realized that some of my friends that I used to go to school with, they're actors, they're models, they're realtors, they're successful. And I'm like, hold up. Like, wait, slow the fuck down. Like, slow down. Like, and that's what triggered me. And I'm like, hold up. Like, this is really my reality. Like, I'm not a victim to my reality. I am allowed to win. And I was like, scratch it. I'm going to win. This is going to be my season of winning, and I'm choosing to win. I don't care if I fail. I don't care how many times things happen. I'm going to keep persisting regardless. And that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly what I'm going to keep doing over and over again, because I'm a winner and I claim that over my life. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep prioritizing myself, because I realized that that's what I wasn't doing in my last season. I was prioritizing everybody else. But in this season, it's my season to win. I just want to leave you with this. Just because you're in a season where you're quote unquote struggling, you never want to say that over your life, by the way. Always say, no, my life is spiraling upwards. The tower moments are only here to help guide me. And that's my mindset when I'm in a low vibrational state. I'm like, no, this is just helping me improve. I'm grateful for my life. I try to stay in that vibration as much as possible, because I don't want to fall victim to negative emotions. Don't get me wrong. You're allowed to have negative emotions. I have negative emotions all the time. I have mental breakdowns. I have all of that. Sometimes I spiral. That is okay. But I'm able to ground myself and bring myself back to the present moment and be like, hey, no, life is still great. God is on my side. The universe is on my side. And I'm going to win. This is just a little bump in the road. And that's my mindset. So I just want to remind you that this is just a season of your life. It's not the entire thing. And just because God has you in a waiting period, or God has you in a season where you're not really winning, that it does not mean that's where you're always going to be. And I want you to realize this, because I was in a season in my life where I wasn't winning. Everybody else around me was winning and benefiting from my lack of boundaries and my lack of self-respect. And I was like, okay, this is great. This is great. This is great. This is a great lesson. And I was like, okay, now we're going to flip that. We're going to respect ourselves, and we're going to prioritize ourselves, because we're in this season now. A lot of this came to my awareness through therapy, because my therapist called me out and she was like, okay, you have to realize that you are a priority as well. You have to realize that Savannah is a priority, and you have to prioritize yourself, because guess what? These people are benefiting from your lack of boundaries and your lack of self-respect, and it's not suiting you. You're not winning. You're not gaining anything. It's time for you to be selfish and win, because I've realized within my life, I've always put everybody else like first, and I've made sure everybody else was okay before myself. And I was like, I really got nowhere because of it. And it's never to say to not be a good Samaritan, not be a good human. It's only to say that put yourself first. Get what you need to get done first. Because I understand when I wasn't putting myself first, I always had this underlying stress of, oh, I need to do my content. I need to do this. I need to work out. I need to do this. I need to do that. And my mind was all over the place. My life was chaotic. It was a mess. And my brain was a mess. But when I started prioritizing myself, I'm like, hold up. I have calmness. I have ease. I have grace. I'm present. And when I'm present, I give my best. It's like, for example, like you meet a new guy and all of a sudden your attachment issues are triggered and you're texting this person 24/7 all day, all night, but you're like in the back of your mind, like, oh no, I gotta go do this. I have to go do this. I have to go do this. But no, I want to talk to this person. I want to entertain this person. And then when you get to hang out with this person, you can't even be fully present with this person because you have all this underlying stress of, oh, I didn't do this. I should be doing this. I should be doing this. Your mind will be all over the place and it'll be chaotic because you haven't prioritized yourself. This is why it's important to make yourself a priority and do what you've never done before. Do what you've never done before. I don't care if it's crazy. I don't care if it's insane. I don't care how crazy you look, because it might look delusional and crazy to somebody else to believe in yourself and to believe that you're capable of doing the things or doing the opposite of what you've always done. It's possible. Anything is possible, but you are capable. And I want to remind you this, okay? I have so many friends around me that are so successful and they inspire me so much. And I've looked at their lives and I'm like, wow, like one of my friends, like she's about to become a millionaire. I know this in my soul. And to a small-minded person, it'll sound like what she's saying is crazy and delusional. But from my perspective, I have a higher perspective. I believe that because I believe anything is possible. And that's why I'm able to look at her and be like, oh yeah, like go ahead, you go off. Instead of me being closed off, be like, why do you think you can do that? No, I believe in this girl. And that's why I'm like, hold up. Well, she's doing this and she's speaking this over her life. I should be doing this too. And I can be doing this. I am not a victim to my reality. And you are not a victim to your reality. You are allowed to succeed. You are allowed to win. Who told you that you were supposed to be in this losing season forever? Hop out of that vibration and hop into a new vibration of you winning. And you want to know how you do that? You do that by doing things that you've never done before. And that means going after everything that you didn't believe that you were capable of doing. Like I said in the beginning, when I wanted to change, I was looking at everybody else around me and I was like, okay, everybody else is getting fulfilled. They're getting everything they want. Where am I at in my life? I was like, okay, it's okay that I'm right here, right now. I'm just in the beginning stages of learning how to care for myself properly. And I was like, it's okay. I'm going to give myself some grace in this season because I understand I'm not always going to be here, but we're going to pick ourselves up. And what I did was I started listening to affirmations and subliminals every single day, telling myself a new story. And then I started learning more about manifestation, because at first I was in this closed-minded energy where I was like, no, I know everything about manifestation. I've done my research. I've read the books. I've done it all. But there's always something to learn. And that's where I was failing at in my life. I was thinking that I knew it all, when in reality, I don't really know anything. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. So I started digging a little bit deeper into Joe Dispenza and watching his videos a little bit more. And I've heard people talk about his meditations over and over again. And I'm like, yeah. It's yada, 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 right? But until I started doing them, I was like, holy shit. Like, my life is changing. And what I've learned from this is if you're not willing to do the work, don't expect the results. You have to get clear on what you want. You have to follow something. You have to follow a plan or something. You have to stick to it. Because before in my life, I would look up things like how to change your life, and then I would screenshot the things and I would keep them in my phone. I would never use them. I would never come back to them. But now when I am reading a book, like for example, in Joe Dispenza's book, he'll talk about, okay, this is the exercises that you need to do, and this is exactly how you're going to change. I gave you the formula, and if you don't do it, that's on you. And that's basically how it is. So what I did was I was like, okay, I have the formula on how I'm going to win. And if I don't follow the formula, I can't expect to win. So I have to do something. I have to be consistent with something. So that was doing the meditation every single day and tapping into the feelings of what it would feel like to have my dream life. And you know what I did? I quantum leaped, bitch. I quantum leaped. And I want to break down this concept a little bit of quantum leaping. It's basically jumping into a new reality by changing your internal state. And that means ridding yourself of old beliefs, old toxic ways of thinking, toxic patterns, habits that no longer serve you, and doing different things that do serve you. I'm going to teach you how to quantum leap real quick. So let me tell you something. A couple of months ago, I was unemployed. I was unhappy with my body. I was slightly insecure. My mindset was kind of poor. Don't get me wrong. Like I've had a great mindset for a long time, but I was very closed-minded because I was like, I thought I knew everything, but in reality, I knew nothing. That's where I failed at in my life, because I thought I knew everything, but I didn't. So I was like, okay, now it's time to get a little bit more open-minded and start learning a little bit more. I was like, okay, I'm tired of the way my life looks. I'm not happy with it. I'm seeing everybody else outside of me win, and I was getting triggered by my reality time and time and time again. Okay, this person's a model. Okay, this person's a realtor. This person's an actor. This person's doing this. This person's doing that. And I was like all over the place. I was like, wow, like these people are doing such great things, but what am I doing? First of all, I had to give myself grace and be grateful for where I'm at in my life, because this is just a season. It's not a life sentence. But I was also like, if these people are doing these things, imagine what I can do. I never really got envious of it. I was just always like, wow, like, how are they doing this? I was always curious about how they're doing this. And what I did was I started asking questions. I wasn't afraid, because I was like, I know I want it bad enough. So I'm going to ask questions. I don't care if I feel scared. I don't care what it is. I'm going to ask people questions and see what I can figure out so I can see how I can apply it to my life. And soon enough, I started doing that, and I started getting success in those areas. So I was like, okay, now we're going to start getting our mindset back together, because I didn't feel the best about myself. I didn't like the way I looked, and I was unhappy. So I was like, okay, let's start focusing on our mindset, because I know how to manifest really well once I tap into my mindset, because the mind really is your most powerful tool. So what did I do? I started listening to affirmations, subliminals over and over again, and I started telling myself a new story. And then I went down a rabbit hole of Joe Dispenza videos, and he taught this meditation, and I was like, okay, well, now I have to be consistent with it, because I've been inconsistent with these things in the past. Now it's time to really be consistent, because people are saying this works, so we're gonna try it for once. Because a lot of the times in the past, I would try things for a little bit of time, and I would be like, okay, I mean, I got a little bit of results, but I never really got the shebang thing that they were talking about. So I was like, okay, now it's time to see what people are really talking about, because I heard people on TikTok talking about it. I heard millionaires talking about it. I heard other people talking about his meditation. So I was like, okay, whatever, we're gonna try it. And I've been being consistent with it for the past few weeks, and I'm so grateful, because this has honestly completely changed my vibrational state. This is why I'm attracting so many good circumstances in my life. So I would just do this meditation for 20 minutes a day, early in the morning when I wake up. It's usually the time when I do it, because when you wake up, your brain is in this state of wave. Basically what that is, it's a brainwave state that's most receptive to programming your mind. Basically, when your mind is in this state, it's very receptive to new beliefs, new concepts. So your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's fake. So I've been visualizing my dream life. Okay, what would it feel like to have my soulmate? What would it feel like to be worthy of love? What would it feel like to have my dream home, my dream body, my dream life? And I've just been tapping more into those feelings. And the more I start tapping into those feelings, I realized that that's a possibility. There's nothing outside of me that I can't have. Wow. This is real. And I started moving in the direction in which I wanted to go in, and I allowed that to build discipline in my life, because I knew that I had that vision in my head. So I know that the version of myself that I want to be is doing the things that are disciplined. I know this version of myself is doing these things. I know she's being disciplined. So I was like, okay, let's start moving in the direction of that, because I know how to get there, because I'm envisioning it. Basically in the meditation, he'll take you through this guided meditation of what it would be like to have your dream life, and what do you need to release, and what do you need to take on. I'll link the meditation down below, but it's been helping me tap into the emotions and I've been feeling it. I've just been feeling the emotions of what it would feel like to have my dream life. And I'm like, this is what life is worth living for. So I'm not going to spend my life just moping around and letting my life pass me by. No, I'm going to quantum leap into the reality that I want to be in. And then right after that, I would write a gratitude list of everything that I'm grateful for in my life, even if it's not here yet. I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful for my car. I'm so grateful for my $1 million home. I'm so grateful for my life. I'm so grateful for the way I look, and just tapping into the feelings of gratitude, because I'm like, wow, my life is really amazing. I'm really abundant. I stopped focusing so much on the external and what was showing up in my reality. I started focusing on how I felt internally and how my life is going to be so great. And what Joe Dispenza says, he says it's called remembering the future, because like I said, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's fake. So I am in the reality in my mind that my life is going great. My life is amazing. It's thriving. And the more I stay in that energy, the more the universe is just going to reflect that back to me in my reality, because I'm in that vibrational state. And the universe doesn't care about what you want. The universe doesn't respond to words. The universe responds to your vibration. So I've been changing my vibration by tapping into the good feelings, by meditating, by visualizing, connecting to that version of myself that I want to be, that I start showing up as her. And not only that, I have been listening to subliminals and affirmations for the past few weeks, guys. I have a whole playlist on my YouTube. If you guys want to check that out, I will link it on the screen somewhere, and I will also link it in the description down below if you guys want to check that out. This is my magical manifestation routine, and this is exactly how I've been getting what I want in my life. I'm not a gatekeeping person. I'm always going to give you these things for free, because why should I gatekeep? Why should I gatekeep? God gave me these things, so I'm going to give it to you guys. And I'm going to tell you a few things that I've manifested in these past few months after I get done what I'm saying. I did that meditation, and after that, I've been listening to these affirmations, and I'm like, okay, like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Either way it goes, I'm going to keep moving in alignment with what I want to happen in my life. So I'm like, okay, I want my dream body in this season. And I was like, okay, well, winter arc is coming around. This is the perfect time to lock in. So I was like, when it came to October 1st, I'm not perfect, and I'm never going to preach that. You guys know I always say this, but I started winter arc around like October 1st, or I think it was like October 2nd. I was like, okay, we're just going to commit to something, okay? I committed to being my highest self. So I was like, in the next few months, I want to look back at this and be like, okay, I completely changed and I quantum leap into a new reality. So I was like, in this season, I'm going to get me a new job. I'm going to get my dream body, and I'm going to be on top of my content and my shit. And I was like, I'm going to get everything I want in this season. And ever since I've been doing that, I've been having that energy in my life, and I've been showing up for myself every single day, even if it's 1%, 3%, 20%, it doesn't matter as long as I'm showing up, and if I'm being grateful and graceful towards myself, and that's what I appreciate. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to these affirmations in subliminals, and sooner rather than later, I've been noticing changes within my body, and I'm like, hold up, wait, like, are these subliminals working? Like, hold up, these are actually working. My reality is really shifting because I'm starting to believe this about myself. Like I said, it's so crazy to believe that if you just program yourself and you rid yourself of these old negative beliefs, you can become a version of yourself that is limitless. You can become that millionaire version of yourself. This is literally unlocking things in my brain that I'm like, wow, I am truly bound by nothing. I am the God of my reality. I'm the creator of my life. And not only that, let me tell you a little bit of things that I was manifesting. So a couple of months ago, I was writing about my dream life, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going on vacations all the time. I'm going on vacation. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Right? Okay, guess what? I even mentioned in one of my videos, if you guys have seen that video, it's one of my traveling vlogs. If you guys want to check that out, by all means, you check that out. But I ended up going to Tennessee, New York. I went to Delaware, and I'm about to go to Virginia this week. I was like, okay, wait, holy shit, like, this can really happen for me. I'm just scripting these things, and I'm moving in alignment with my authentic self. So I'm just doing things that are authentic to me. I've been living in this authentic energy for the longest time, because I'm like, I'm an authentic person, and I want to showcase the real me, because the real me is amazing. And the more I started moving in alignment with that energy, the more the things that I truly wanted started manifesting for me. And another thing that I will tell you, in the beginning of the summer, I was like, okay, by my birthday, I'm gonna get my dream body. I'm gonna have really nice pics. I'm gonna buy me a vintage camera. I'm gonna take nice pics, and I'm gonna have a nice little birthday party. And I was just saying that as a joke, because I wasn't really expecting much of it. I never really had birthdays. I never really celebrated. I usually cried on my birthday, and I was always unhappy. But I was like, you know what? This year is the year for me to change that. I want to be happy on my birthday. I'm not crying. I'm not gonna be sad on my birthday. I'm just gonna be that bitch. And I was like, okay. And sooner rather than later, in August, and I put my dress on, and I was looking at myself, and I was like, wow, like I'm really proud of myself. And my girls came in my room. They started taking pictures of me with my camera. I got tons of memories. If you guys have seen them, they're all over my Instagram. You guys can check that out. We'll link my Instagram on the screen and in the description down below. But yeah, I was like, I can do this. I was like, wow, like everything I say I want is happening for me. Everything works out for me. So, and not only that, I literally, like, I can manifest things out of thin air. So I was like, okay, you know what, now in this season, I want to manifest a new car. I want to manifest a lot of money. I want to manifest this. I want to manifest that. And guess what? I'm going to manifest it. You're going to see me in a couple of months. You're going to be like, wow, she really did what she said she was going to do. Because guess what? I stand on business and I'm always going to make sure my dreams come true. And so it's the universe, because the universe corresponds to my favor. This is my mentality. And this should be your mentality. Because I promise you, when you tap into this energy, you are limitless. The universe is going to work in your favor. Life is going to be your bitch. You are going to be the luckiest person on earth. I promise you, and I guarantee you, I swear to you, this is no lie. And it's always important to move with your manifestation technique. Maybe you visualizing is what helps you manifest. Me personally, it's affirmations, visualizing, and scripting. All of those work perfectly fine for me. You don't have to buy those manifestation work journals. You don't have to buy anything to manifest, okay? For example, you can even have like a crystal or whatever. Sometimes I speak to my crystals and I'm like, this crystal is going to help me attract luck and abundance and prosperity. Just say it to it, and I would just let it be, and I would keep it on me, and I'm like, yeah, it's just keeping me lucky. It's giving me a lucky aura. I went to a pumpkin patch the other day, and I was walking with my friends, and I ended up finding $1 on the ground. And it's I get it, it's just $1, but the thing is, it's a reminder, and it's a sign from the universe to me that like I'm super lucky. Like abundance just comes to me so easily, and this is my mindset. This is why I'm attracting things to my aura, because I am a lucky person, and I believe that internally. And I just want to remind you to dream as big as possible, because anything is possible. You are bound by nothing. You are a limitless being. And I'm going to keep reaffirming this to you, because this is what you are. I had to really grasp this concept in my mind, and I would always spend so much time around small-minded people, and that kept me small-minded. And I was like, I don't want to be around this anymore. So I started expanding my circle. And if you guys have seen my TikTok, you know I've talked about this. I talked about how I'm surrounded with successful people that stand on business, they get their shit done, they prioritize themselves, and they're an inspiration to me. And that's why I'm moving in alignment with what I want to go in, because I see the people around me doing it, and I'm like, hold up, I want to be like you guys. Like, I want to be around successful people. Some people are losers. Some people aren't people that are in that winner mentality, and that's okay to admit. You don't have to spend your time around those people, and that is okay. Protect your energy. Personally, I don't tell people my goals or my plans or my dreams anymore, because I understand I don't need your input. I don't need your energy being sent to me. I believe in myself, and God believes in me, and that's all it's going to be. I don't need your input. I don't need you saying this is gonna work, this is not gonna work, you can't do this, you can do that, I don't need none of it, okay? Because your opinion is not fact, and I don't need to carry your belief as my own. So I'm gonna start carrying my own beliefs and believing in myself and keeping my opinions and keeping my beliefs and my aspirations, my goals to myself, because I don't need anybody else's excess energy infecting my goals or my dreams. I'm not doing that. I'm not limiting myself, and I'm not stooping down to somebody else's level. And that's very important, to not stay around small-minded people, because they will make you feel small. And I know personally, because I've always been this dreamer type, I've always been the person that strives for more. And when I get around people that make me feel like my dreams are too big, I'm like, wow, like fuck, like what? Like there's something wrong with me? No. And I would always belittle myself around these people, and I would be a watered down version of myself. But I was like, am I fulfilled here? Am I happy here? No, this is not a space that I need to be in. I want to be in spaces where I feel good, where I like being around people, where I want to talk to people, where I want to learn from people, where people want to learn from me. And the energy is very reciprocated. That's the rooms and circles that I want to be in. So I started changing who I was hanging around and changing who I was being. I stopped being a watered down version of myself and started being the most iconic, epic, spiritual version of myself, because I'm a very spiritual, witchy person. I love this topic. I love these things. This is something that I know so much about, and that's why I've been embracing more of my witchy side, because I understand that this is a part of who I am, and I was tired of hiding it, because I was always, like I said, I was a watered down version of myself, because I didn't know if people would like it. But I was like, you know what? It's not about other people. It's about me. This is my life. This is my world, and I'm creating it to be the best experience that I possibly can, because I'm only here for a limited amount of time, and I'm gonna die. And I'd be damned if I sit around and care what everybody else is gonna think about me and how everybody else is perceiving me. It's taking up too much of my mental space, and it's taking too much of my time up. So I'm not gonna do that. Another thing that I will tell you is, when you start tapping into this energy, people are gonna think you're delusional. I literally have a friend, we talk about this all the time. We're like, we're gonna be millionaires, and we always talk about the cars we're gonna have. And I see this girl, she's out here doing it, she's posting her content all the time, and she's flourishing, and she's doing amazing, and she knows who she is, and she knows who she is, all right? And I see this, and I'm like, I remember where she came from. She was in a space where nobody was believing in her, and everybody was infecting doubts in her, and she was always around people that were doubting her. And I would always try to be the person that reminds her, like, no, like, we're gonna get this one way or another. We're gonna win. This is our winning season. We're supposed to win in our life. We are gonna be millionaires. We are gonna be so rich. I would just give positive affirmations to her, because I was like, this is our path. We're not going to keep letting these people get in our minds, because guess what? They're small-minded, and we don't have to listen to them. Just because we have big goals and affirmations doesn't mean there's something wrong with us. And I'm tired of people making us feel like that. So I want to leave you with this. Dream as big as possible. I don't care if it's delusional. I don't care if you're crazy. I don't care what it is or how it sounds. It's going to happen for you. If you say you want to be a billionaire, guess what? You can do that. You say you want to build a rocket ship. You can do that. You want to be the next big influencer. You can do that. You are capable of any and everything. And I want you to remind yourself this, because a lot of us like to water ourselves down because we want to keep other people comfortable, but fuck them. There's no time for that. There's no time for losing. Own your shit, focus on yourself, and stop letting other people infect you with their negative energy. And remain in your essence. Remind yourself that you are a white light. Your energy is protected by the gods in the universe. And keep your plans to yourself, because I promise you, when you do, you will get a lot farther when you do. Stop trying to convince small-minded people that your dreams are gonna happen. It doesn't matter, because I promise you, they do not give a fuck. They can only grasp how much their mind knows. Like, people can only meet you as deep as they've met themselves. And that's why you have to stop trying to convince other people, because I know in the beginning of my journey, I would try to convince my mom, my friends, my family, everybody that I'm going to be this big fucking star. And everybody's like, yeah, whatever. She's an egomaniac. Lady Gaga quote, by the way. But yeah, everybody be like, yeah, like, I don't know why you think this is gonna happen for you. Oh yeah, she thinks she's gonna be a millionaire. She thinks she's gonna be this. She thinks she's gonna be that. Yeah, you guys are laughing, but look where I'm at. Like, I'm thriving. I'm literally thriving. It's only up from here. My life is spiraling upwards, and these are the affirmations that I tell myself over and over again. I'm going to get in those spaces, and I promise you, in the next few years, that I'm going to be there. I also want to remind you that what might be delusion to somebody else can be fact for you. So I also want to leave you with this one thing that I discovered recently. It's called Plato's allegory cave. Let me break this down to you, and I'm gonna try to find a video that I watched earlier and see if this can help you guys break it down a little bit more. I'm going to try to break it down to you guys as best as I possibly can. But basically, there was this group of cavemen, and they lived in this cave, and they had everything that they ever possibly needed in this cave. They would never leave this cave because they had everything that they needed, right? So they had this fire lit, and they would see shadows of dogs, of snakes, other animals, of birds, and they would see these shadows, but they never thought that they were real. They never thought that they existed. Until one day, one caveman, he leaves, and he goes out in the world, and he follows the light at the end of the tunnel, and he goes outside, and he sees what dogs are like in real life. He sees what birds really look like. He sees what snakes really look like, what the grass looks like, what earth really looks like. And he goes back to his cavemen and is trying to tell them how beautiful outside really is. And they're like, no, we're comfortable here. It's fine. You're crazy. You're this, you're that. And this is basically what the theory is. What might be delusion to somebody else can be fact for you. Just because everybody else doesn't agree or doesn't see your vision doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Doesn't mean you're crazy. Doesn't mean anything about you. Doesn't mean it can't happen for you. Doesn't mean it's impossible. Just because these small-minded people are content in their beliefs doesn't mean you have to convince them that what you're seeing is real. Like I said, people can only meet you as deep as they met themselves. So if they haven't experienced it, they're not going to believe you. And if they're not willing to leave their comfort zone, they're never going to agree with you. So stop trying to get these people to be on the same page as you, because they're so content with their way of thinking. These people are going to be ignorant to what you're saying because they haven't experienced it themselves. And they're going to call you crazy, but you have to stand firm in your belief. Like, no, I seen what I seen. And basically he was like, no, like, he stand 10 toes with himself. Like, no, I seen what I seen, and this is what it is, but other people don't see it. Don't try to get people to see the same vision as you, okay? They don't. God gave you a vision. You got to keep moving in alignment with that vision. You stop trying to convince everybody else of your vision and get them on the same page as you, because I promise you they don't care. Basically what you can take from this is those people didn't want to believe him because they haven't left their comfort zone while he did. And they were stuck in the comfortable and familiar. And that's why they looked at him like he was crazy, because he was outside of the box. And they were like, oh no, like, what's wrong with you? Like, there's no way these things are existing. What's wrong with you? Because he left the box. He's outside of his comfort zone. And because these people haven't experienced what he's experienced, so they are being ignorant to his belief, because they're like, no. There's no way. That's not true. Basically, when people are so content in their beliefs, they're set in their ways, you can't try to get them out of that, okay? A lot of the times people are really close-minded, especially if they're old. They're probably not going to believe in you, or they're going to be so entitled to their own beliefs. Stop trying to convince them. They don't want to understand you, and they're not going to understand you. And they're going to look at you like you're crazy because they haven't done what you've done. This is why you always got to be mindful of who you take advice from, okay? Don't take advice from people you wouldn't trade places with. And honestly, having everybody doubt you and have this, like, negative perception of you will kind of get to you, and it kind of make you feel like, wow, like, maybe there is something wrong with me. Like, there's a lot of people that are saying I'm wrong and less people saying I'm right. So I think the bigger crowd is the people I have to listen to more. No, don't do that. Stay 10 toes down with your belief in yourself. It doesn't matter if you're fighting alone, fight for it. Honestly, that's what I do. Like, you think I would get up here every single day if I didn't believe in myself? No. I believe in myself. That's why I'm showing up. I don't care what everybody else has said about me. I don't care who doesn't believe in me. I don't care who's saying, yapping. I don't care. They don't matter. They don't matter to me, because guess what? They don't have the same vision as me, and I don't have to spend time convincing them that the vision that I have is right. I don't. It doesn't matter. You don't want to do that, okay? You don't want to be like everybody else. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be you. It's okay to follow a different path, the most unconventional path. If you want to be a millionaire or a billionaire, go after it. There's no limits. I believe in you. If you don't have somebody believing in you and cheering for you, I'm cheering for you, and I want to see you win. And I hope you come back to this video and you tell me everything that you've achieved, and I want you to leave a comment down below on the reality that you plan on living after you get done watching this video. Because if you leave it down in the comments, you're essentially scripting, and that's a form of manifestation. And actually, you can come back to this and be like, wow, I really did what I said I was going to do. You gotta stand on business, babe. You have to hold yourself accountable. You can't just write it down and be like, oh, no, I'm not gonna do it today. I don't feel like doing it. No, you gotta stand 10 toes down. Do it regardless of how you feel. So the last thing I'm gonna tell you guys, and I want you guys to take this with you, is to dream as big as freaking possible. I don't care if you sound delusional. I don't care if you sound crazy. I believe in you, and you should believe in you too. You gotta be your biggest fan. You gotta be the person that holds yourself accountable even on your worst days. Even if you show up just 1%, remind yourself that it's all a part of the process. It's not about being perfect. It's just about being consistent. And I even have a whole video on that if you guys wanna check that out. It's a lazy girl guide to glowing up. It's a literal foolproof method that you cannot fail at, and this is exactly how you will succeed during this winter arc. If you guys wanna check that out, I will link it somewhere on the screen. I will link it in the description down below. And with all that being said, guys, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and bye.
Let's get sexy. Let's get sexy.